Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we have the updated Ret talent tree slash Paladin talent tree too over here. And guys, this is not looking good. I am not happy. I wasn't planning on having to do this video. I was doing this after the raid tonight, and oh my gosh, this is not at all what I hoped for. After all my feedback, so many people's feedback, basically saying the same things or very similar things, and we did not get anything we asked for. It's still, it's not looking good. Let's go ahead and talk about the changes, I guess, first. And if I sound defeated, it's because I am. This is really depressing how bad this is. Let's go ahead and talk about and frankly, let's be honest. I am not a negative person. I'm usually very optimistic and stuff like that. I don't hate on Blizzard. I don't hate on WoW. I don't hate on devs, and I'm not going to either. In this, it's just that I'm just saying, like, for me to say this is bad, that's not something normal for me to say. This is just bad. Let's go ahead and talk about the Paladin side first. I'll get that over with. So they basically just changed the location of some stuff here. They kind of swapped cleanse with this 2% crit or whatever. That's mostly what they did. Let's be honest here. They swapped that around, made it easier to get the cleanse for Paladin, I guess, for Mythic Plus. So you would do that or whatever. I guess it's also possible to just not take those two, and then you can go whatever, or you can come all the way down here and get the 2% crit instead of your movement or whatever. They kept the 4 talent points for Divine Steed, guys. I don't know. Someone made a joke. The person who made Divine Steed for WoW must be the same person who made Divine Steed for the Paladin on Diablo Immortal, and this person just cannot get over Divine Steed. It's 4 talent points, man. There's 4 talent points for Divine Steed. What? Divine Steed should just be baseline. It's so crappy. There shouldn't even be one. You should just get Divine Steed, and then there should maybe be 1 talent point, Improved Divine Steed, that gives you all 3 of these things right here. Improved Divine Steed gives you Cavalier plus Seasoned Warhorse. And it's so bad. Why is there 4 talents for it? Why? I don't understand that at all. And so it's mostly the same. They changed it, the way you could do things a little bit. I guess I played with it a little bit. So you can, like I said, you can actually get all your ret stuff and still come down here and get this 2% crit on Holy Aegis. Obviously, that's like the best pure damage thing to do. And to do so, you just drop some stuff up here, whether that's Seasoned Warhorse, drop your Lay on Hands, or something like that. You can come down here and grab Holy Aegis still. It's not a huge deal. It's mostly the same over here. I'll scroll down a little bit, but nothing really changed down here. It's mostly the same. Judgment of Light's still there, so you would grab that on your way down to Holy Aegis, but this whole bottom part's pretty much the same. The class tree itself isn't terrible, except for Divine Steed is terrible. So no change there whatsoever. In fact, one of the changes on the ret side is they got rid of Long Arm of the Law because they don't want us to have movement. And they want us to have crappy Divine Steed. And they see us giving feedback about Divine Steed being bad, and so they double and triple down on it. Whoever is doing the talents for Ret is one of the devs who has an adversarial relationship with the players, who doesn't listen to the players, doesn't care what the players think, that doesn't raid. They do not do Mythic Plus dungeons. They don't do anything. They probably don't even play the game, and they have no idea what they're doing. That's about the strongest language you're going to hear from me about a dev. The person doing this has no idea what they're doing. None. Zero. It's bad. Let's go ahead and talk about this side and how they butchered it. So currently I have like a Mythic Plus style build in, which there are a couple options. I guess I'll say a couple positive things is that they kind of made it, give you like a few different build options. Of course, one of them is just going to be tuned better than the other, but there is kind of like a cleave build, a straight AoE build, and a straight single target build you can make. So, it's less ambiguous, I guess, because before there was just so many good talents you could choose from down here. You could get a lot of them, and so you could like just be like, oh, I'm having this and this. It's kind of like a buffet of things. As you can see from my straight AoE one, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 10 talents at the bottom because there's just nothing for AoE. There's an AoE talent down here at the bottom left now that they added, Executioner's Wrath, that you can get. That actually seems pretty cool, but you have to take Relentless Inquisitor and Execution Sentence to get to it, which you don't necessarily want for AoE. So Relentless Inquisitor is fine, but it's not like it's a great thing at all or whatever. So 3% haste isn't like make or breaking you at any point. It's a nice thing to have, but it's like not something that you really super need. So the other thing they did was they made Zeal and Blade of Wrath baseline. In my other videos, you saw me talk about the triangle of Ashes to Ashes with Zeal and Blade of Wrath. So now you're going to pretty much have Zeal and Blade of Wrath every time, no matter what, because you're always going to go down both sides. And so makes Ashes to Ashes kind of like a must take thing down here. I would almost like to see Ashes to Ashes just in the center somewhere, and like 1 point giving you both of these or something, just because, you know, they're clearly trying to build towards the set bonus, which is fine. I like the set bonus, but it's like kind of just now in a weird place, and they put something crappy under it. It doesn't make a lot of sense at all. They did absolutely nothing with Shield of Vengeance. Shield of Vengeance still sucks, still not a real defensive. Again, like I said, we lost Long Arm of the Law, so we lost Long Arm, we lost movement, still have crappy defensive. Absolutely nothing good going on as far as those go. No changes to mobility, no changes to defenses, which is the number one critique I made. It's the number one critique pretty much everybody made for Ret. Please give us a way to live. Please give us some sort of movement that's not crappy, or at least not make us put 4 talents into it. And, you know, this is what we get. We get this crap, so that is what it is. And then they moved Crusade / our crit Avenging Wrath Might, so they didn't do anything like I wanted with that, where you still have to choose whether you want crit or haste, essentially, for your talent there. For this, you very well may just, for AoE build, you may very well just take Might here. It's very possible for pure AoE. But, you know, who knows? Maybe the Crusade's better with Zeal proccing and your auto hits and stuff, getting your Ashes to Ashes to proc, I mean. So you have that. Let's see other notable changes. Anything notable? They got rid of Long Arm of the Law, like I said. They did do this Consecrated Ground thing. Your Consecration is 15% larger and enemies are slowed. So they took that out of the corner there, so it's a little bit easier to get, which is good. The other part is your Consecration is 50% larger, and when you cannot be slowed below 80% of your movement speed within Consecration. So it's like supposed to be like an anti-slow for like whatever, and it ends 2 seconds after leaving Consecration. So I guess like if you combine this with it, like if a boss puts a mass slow on you or something and you need to run out, I mean, obviously why wouldn't you just Blessing of Freedom? I mean, it's stupid. Well, you would just Blessing of Freedom, right? Well, because you don't take Blessing of Freedom, but you would just take Blessing of Freedom for that boss because you know you need it. And so, you know, Sanctified Ground's kind of stupid. Doesn't really help at all. Not really that good at all. They also changed, they moved Boundless Judgment over there. I mean, they changed what these things were, I believe. The talents that I said nobody would take, they could get rid of those, it seems like. Seal of Wrath. Judgment has a 25% chance to cast again and deal percent of attack power holy damage. This isn't terrible. I know, I believe Bolas in the Red Discord was talking about maybe making a Blade of Wrath or a Blade of Justice build where you center it around like Xpurg, Seal of Wrath, you know, and you're just like building around that kind of damage instead of like it's like your builder is doing a good amount of damage too, not just your spender, which would be interesting if it was tuned right, but who knows? I mean, I doubt that's going to be tuned in a way that's worth it. Then we have Sealed Verdict over here. This is kind of the same thing as it was. I think they might have changed the percentage on it though, but yeah. So then the biggest changes down here at the bottom. So let's just talk at the bottom because it's so bad. A lot of the same things, but they changed where they are and they just kind of like made them worse, right? And in a lot of ways. So Final Reckoning used to be over here. That's still the same. Virtuous Command, I don't know where it was, but it's still here. Final Verdict's over here. For some reason, Vanguard's Momentum is behind it. You literally have 2 single target only things on the right side. And right underneath it is something that does multi-target and single target. So if I wanted this for my multi-target build, I would have to take 2 completely single target abilities, and so then you just never would take it. You could take it for single target, I suppose, but you kind of have to choose in a lot of ways. It is actually pretty easy to come down here because they didn't make it have different. They didn't make it a 2-point note or whatever. So I guess it is not that bad to come down here and get this. You could get 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you still have 4, 7, 8, and then you could still grab like Virtuous Command, or you could find Toll and Resonance. So yeah, I mean, you could do a right and left side build as well for single target, and it's not that bad. It's just some of the things just make you so frustrated because then you can't get Final Reckoning. Before you could have Final Reckoning, Executioner's Will because it was in the middle here, right? And then you could still like grab Final Verdict, and now you just can't do that, which makes it frustrating because it's worse, right? It's just worse because it has to be worse because you have less abilities or whatever, and so it's harder to choose. The multi-target build is really easy to make because there's just not multi-target choices anymore that you can get to. Like Vanguard's Momentum was something you could just grab before on the multi-target, and now you can't. So now you're like really stuffing things in the middle here. You don't have to grab like Boundless Judgment. You can choose one of these instead. Relentless Inquisitor, where it's at, it kind of stinks, but it is what it is. Like I said, that little bit of haste isn't really going to do much. Actually, in my multi-target build, I actually have 2% mastery up here instead of a Relentless Inquisitor, just because I would have had to take one of these two as well. But this isn't necessarily the best AoE build either. I was messing around with it. You could get like Truce Wake, for example, instead of like Boundless Judgment or whatever, whichever one's better. But overall, I'm mostly disgusted by it. So what are the things that need to change now? There's still 4 talent points for Divine Steed, so they need to change that. That can't go live. That can't go into Dragonflight with 4 talents. My most talented thing is like Judgment and Divine Steed. That makes me really want to play a Paladin. My Judgment and my Divine Steed. It's like the person making this only gets feedback, and I have nothing against role players, by the way, at all. I think it's actually kind of cool that they do that. I had a friend in real life who did like role-playing stuff. Nothing against it whatsoever. But it's like their feedback for this stuff is coming from a role-playing player who also doesn't do dungeons and doesn't do raids and like only does role-playing, right? Doesn't do anything else. And it's like that's what it feels like. It feels like they don't know what they're doing, like they don't play. Like they don't actually press the buttons. Like they've never actually used Vanguard's Momentum before. They didn't craft Vanguard's Momentum. They have no idea what it does in practical, in combat and stuff like that because they've never even used it. So that's the feeling I get from it. So things that still need fixed. 4 points of Divine Steed. Avenging Wrath still has 3 points, with one of them being Might here. 3 points if one of them's Might. Just to get your normal Avenging Wrath of Shadowlands. 3 points. I said in my other video I'd like that to be 2. I'd like Might to just be included. Just the crit should just be included. It's always been included. Wings gives us crit. If you have to nerf the crit, then nerf the crit. But Wings should just give us crit. Okay? That's just the way it should be. So they still need to fix that. Still awkward to grab some of this Consecration stuff. They clearly want us to play Consecration. Hopefully they tune Consecration correctly. I know I can say that till I'm blue in the face, but they still make it awkward to grab this talent down here. At least now it's like leading you into the bottom part, but it's leading you into the single target part. Maybe move like this worthless Justicar's Vengeance talent over here. But then this is single target too. So you need to move like this Consecration one like to connect with Divine Toll, right? An AoE ability. I still don't see any kind of ringing clarity or anything on Divine Toll. So as long as that's the case, it's still not going to be the greatest thing for single target. Of course, it does interact with your judgments and stuff like that. So that didn't get changed. And then, we still have no good defensive, no way to live, crappy movement. They got rid of our long arm of the law. Just overall extremely disappointed when I saw this. I think that everyone looking at it is pretty disappointed. The most positive thing I saw, like I said, was basically some people saying, well, maybe I can do like a different build. Like I said, you could do like a cleave build. You could do a Blade of Justice build. AoE single target. Like there are some possible different builds you can make. It seemed like before they're trying to like do like a judgment build you could do instead, but like judgment build just kind of feeds into your normal build anyways, and so you're just gonna do the best. Like it's just basically an execution sentence build, and judgment kind of feeds into that with Mad Paragon and other things, and so it didn't actually feel like a judgment build because you weren't going to take these other two judgment talents on the right side here. Sealed Verdict did get changed, so this is different. Your Holy Power spending abilities increase the damage of your next Blade of Justice. So this is the Blade of Justice build. So they, instead of doing a judgment build, they're like, okay, how about a Blade of Justice build? Like that doesn't excite me at all. Maybe for some people it does, but it doesn't excite me at all. Justicar's Vengeance, get rid of this thing. I talked about this before. Like I don't know what they're thinking, guys. I at this point, at this very moment, beginning of August here, I could not, in good faith, tell anyone to play a Ret Paladin Dragonflight. If you're a Ret Paladin thinking about coming back for Dragonflight, I couldn't tell you to resub or come back and play. I'd say right now, we're not strong, but right now in Season 4, it's fun to play Paladin. It's at least pretty good to play. Feels okay. But for this Dragonflight, I hate the way this is, especially because we have other people's talent trees to compare it to, and it's just so bad compared to so many others. I don't like this at all. I'm sorry I'm so negative about it. I'm not really usually, like I said, negative about anything to do with this channel, really. But that's just the way I feel. None of the issues got addressed. No defensive, crappy movement. In fact, made our movement worse. Getting rid of Divine Toll. Those are the two things I see from everybody. The most casual Mythic +4 player to the most hardest core, not just cutting edge, even I'm a cutting edge raider, but like Hall of Fame, Ret Paladin. We have no defensive. Our movement is stupid. Can you fix those things? And their answer is a resounding no. So I'll stick with it, guys. Fighting the good fight. I might main something else in Dragon. If this goes live like this, I'll probably main something else in Dragonflight. I just have to hope that it doesn't. I'll still play my Ret Paladin and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I can't play something that's just this terrible when they're adding yet another class that's going to be fun and good, like an Evoker, and it's just another reason not to play Ret, just because there's just another spec that's going to be good, another class that's going to be good. So yeah, very very sad right now. I thought the tree the way it was okay. My thought was, I hope it's tuned good, and I hope it gives us defensive, and I hope it gives us movement, different kind of a movement thing or something. And instead of getting any of those good changes, we just got bad changes. So we've taken a step down, unfortunately. So that's it for this one, guys. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. Helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.